Okay, in this video we're just going to do a few quick examples of finding the domain of a function. Hopefully this won't take very long. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this function here, the square root of x minus 3 plus 2x over x minus 4. How would we find the domain of that function? And we're also going to look at 2x squared plus x plus 3. So remember, the domain of a function is the x values that you can plug in and have it make sense, okay? So really what you have to look for are things that will make the function break. That's how you find the domain, is you figure out what can't you plug in, and then everything else will be okay. Okay. So let's start by looking at the square root that's in the front. Is there anything that could break that square root? Well, we can't take a square root of a negative number, so that part we have to be careful of. Mostly we need x minus 3, the thing inside the square root, we need that to be positive. We need it to be greater than or equal to 0. So in other words, we need x to be bigger than or equal to 3, right? I could add 3 on both sides and get x alone there, so x would be greater than or equal to 3. So we need x to be bigger than or equal to 3. That's one thing. The other thing is we have this fraction here that's adding to it. The thing that can go wrong with fractions is you can't have the bottom be 0. Okay? So we cannot have this bottom be 0. So we need to avoid places where it does equal 0. Where does it equal 0? Well, it equals 0 at 4. So we need to avoid that spot. That's a bad spot for our function as well. Okay, so we need x to be bigger than or equal to 3, and we need to avoid 4. So if we draw kind of a number line to get an idea of what this domain is looking like, we have 3, we have 4. We need to be bigger than or equal to 3. So we've got to be at 3. We could include it. Everything to the right, okay, would be okay. Only we need to avoid that 4 right there. So there's going to be a hole right there at the 4. Okay, but then everything else to the right will work. So the domain on this function is going to be, we include 3, 2, we go up to 4. Don't include 4 though, because that'll make the denominator 0, and then 4 up to infinity. Okay, and so that's your domain of this function. A simpler one to do real fast, if you have 2x squared plus x plus 3, notice there's no fractions in here, no square roots, so there's nothing that's going to break this function. At any x you can plug in there and have it work just fine. So the domain on that one is going to be any real number. So just from negative infinity up to infinity would be the domain on that. Okay. So hopefully that kind of helps finding domain of functions. We did some of that in the last video too, but hopefully that just kind of brings it all together. I'll see you in the next video.